Now we're streaming live. Well, welcome back, everyone. I'm Ann DeVere, and this is another segment of Access to Experts, part of the Global Visibility Initiative docu-branding series. This entire week, we're talking about genre and plot. We're bringing Hollywood into everything we're doing, bringing in the drama and the comedy and all the other amazing plots that go on in Hollywood. And guess what? Hollywood gets all those plots from us. The drama in our lives, pretty much everything we see in the movies is based on our real life story, right? And docu-branding is all about the documentary, and branding is a unique story about it, right? So telling a unique story about a unique product, about a unique problem, something special about it. Well, there's nothing more special and unique than us. And so telling our story, we're going to be finding a lot of different ways. So today I have a really, really special guest who's coming back. She was so good I had to ask her back again. And Angela Hayes, she's an expert on emotions, in particular anger. Yeah, the one thing that can take us out of control and spin our head all around, and then set us back up someplace we don't even know how we got there. You know what I'm talking about? We've all been there. It's like, how in the world did I say that? How did I do that? Well, Angela Hayes is going to be shedding some light into some of the things that we do. I'm excited because I know I want to learn some things. So get your pen and paper. Today is all about genre and plot. How does Hollywood fit within our own drama? Yeah, we're drama queens and we're drama kings and all those amazing royals that go along with it. So Angela, thank you so much for joining me. So happy you came back.
Thank you for having me again. It's wonderful to see you.
Yeah, you too. So we're talking about drama all the way, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Mm-hmm.
Emotions bring in a lot of drama. So let's talk about emotions. Why is it so hard for us to control our emotions?
Because we literally lose the plot. we
lose the plot.
When we get really upset about something, part of our brain drops out. So the logical thinking part of our brain stops working when we get really upset. And the more adrenaline we have, the less clear we think. So any kind of emotion that doesn't work for us literally makes us stupid because we don't really operate with a full brain anymore. So that's when, as you said, we forget things, we drop out, we run on automatic, and we just react. It's to the caveman. Yeah. Hit somebody over the head or run away. Those are the choices.
Well, I know what that feels like, and I've experienced it on both sides. I've said, how could I have said that, or how could I have done that? And then I heard other people say the same thing. So this is a really important part of our lives. Mm-hmm. And the thing about it, as you and I were discussing, earlier, is that, well, it's drama in our lives. But how did we decide that's the way things are supposed to be? As you were saying, the plot. Well, any movie that we know, there is a plot. There is something we're supposed to follow. There is a story we're supposed to follow. The entire story is already written out. So that's some of what we do within our own expectations. We have the plot all set, and we have characters. But actually, I'm going to go full screen on this because this is like perfect, right? So every movie, book, play, anything that's been written, there are three components, right? There are the characters, and there is the setting where everything is happening, and then there is the plot. So that's what you were talking about, the plot. We already have our expectations, but there's so much more to it, right? There's like we have as we said, the characters. So there are other people involved in our plot, in our expectations, and there's also the setting of which this is happening. So our environment also controls how we think and how we feel.
So generally what happens is we go through the world and we focus our attention on something. So we focus our attention on characters, on settings, and depending on how we are primed and how much we have learned, we focus on the same things over and over again. So that's culture, that's beliefs. Those are all the things that impact on how and where we focus. And when we have literally fixed our camera on what we're focusing on and what we're hearing and what we're seeing, we're filtering it all through it's a big filter that says, this is what's really important. This is what I need to pay attention to. And that's what I react to. And the more often I tell myself the same story, the more often I have the same characters and the same settings, the more I get into the same emotions over and over again, and the more I react the same way. So that means that then I can get into this whole, you know how angry people get angrier and angrier and angrier?
Yes.
That's exactly what it is. So I focus on the same character. I focus on the setting. It's the same plot over and over and over again. And it's like, I know this. So you've seen these couples, right? She goes, oh, and he goes, what?
Yeah.
Right? You know they've been together for 20 years.
Yeah, because you know that, whatever that means, or what that means. So everything means something. We already know what it means, and we're expecting it. So I totally get it. Now, the thing about it is that what you said, I expect the same thing over and over again. If I don't get it, I'm going to stop and I'm going to start again. The same thing I'm going to repeat until I get what I want. And that's so similar. We see it in movies like the director says, cut, do that again. Unfortunately, the characters in our lives don't take direction as well as the actors on the set, because they know their job is to take direction. The characters in our lives, they have their own plot going on.
Absolutely.
So we have two different plots basically banging against each other, trying to take over the same set.
Yes, and it's all about control. Yeah. The more I can control and the more I want to control, the harder it's going to be for me to manage my emotions. Because, again, as you said, there's somebody who comes in with a different agenda. And then when we get into this fight and then ego kicks in and I'm more important or I'm right, you're wrong. And then we really try to determine the plot. And we want to be the director, and this is where I'm going because this is the outcome I want. And this is the thing, it says whether that's a good outcome or a bad outcome often doesn't matter. It's what I'm used to. It's the story I've told myself so many times that it's a rerun. I'm no longer in present tense. I'm rerunning. It's like it's been syndicated, it's rerunning, and I'm familiar.
So how do we control that? Let's break this down. Mm-hmm. First, if we already have the scenario running, the plot, as we say, that means we have set characters within our plot. Now, some of those, the way we respond to things, they come from other characters in our lives, if you will. We learn something from our parents or an experience before. Somebody told us this is the way we're supposed to be acting or expected to act, or this is what we should expect. So do we stop and take a look at the people involved in that scenario and say, you know what? That's not my mother. That's not my boss. That's whoever. This is somebody different. So do we go in and rewrite, the scene based on the character that's there in our lives at that moment and say, you know what? That was a different person. Is that one of the things we should do?
Often we don't recognize that what we do is we assign the same role to a different actor. Like I know that I worked with my father 3 times before I realized, oh my God, I'm recreating the same scenario of working with the same type of person who has really high expectations. Nothing is ever good enough. And I know my father really just wanted to motivate me by saying, what do you mean you had an A- and it wasn't a straight A? But I worked with this type of person 3 times until I went, oh my God, I'm reenacting the same story over and over again. And that's why it's so important to take that big step back and being able to say, that's a story I'm telling myself. Now, do I want to keep repeating the same story or do I want to change it? Now, I can still have characters in there, but I just decide that the plot is going to run this slightly different this time. And then when I've made that realization, it just changes.
Okay, very interesting. So part of the challenge is us not recognizing that we keep putting the same characters in that plot. So yes, we can choose to change the character. So once we identify, the personality traits or, the particular things about that character that triggers us, if you will. Yeah. So say, oh, you know what? I've seen you. I'm writing a different scene here. It's we need a different actor in this one. So, okay. So I get that. Now the settings. Yeah. Do the settings that we're in, the environment we're in, control our emotions as well?
We think it does. It's generally people say, okay, if I can control my environment and the people around me, then I can have what I want. And I'm going to be really happy, and I'll be able to manage my emotions. This is why I love when people say, oh, you're making me so angry. And I go, what do you mean I make you angry? Does that mean I can make you give me $1,000 too? And then people go, no. So how am I in charge of your emotions? How can I be in your body and manage what you do? So the idea is really to say, I am, and Joe Dispenza, one of my teachers, used to say, self-mastery is to be greater than the environment. It's not outsourcing our responsibility to other people and the setting, saying, oh, if only. That's the blame model. But to be able to say, I'm deciding where the plot is going, not from managing and controlling the other actors from the director's place, but from a cooperative place, and saying, the only person I can really manage is myself. And then the story I tell myself changes.
So if we say, if I had a better car, I would be happier driving to work. Yes. If I had bigger house, if I had this, so it's just the same problem goes to a bigger house.
Yes.
The same problem, which is the problem being us and the way we respond to things. So the setting doesn't really change, So, no. Okay.
Neither do the characters. If we say, I would only be happy if you only did this, and if you only stopped doing that, and if you didn't make me feel this way, then I could finally be happy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so we know that we're powerless over other people. We know that because whatever decisions we made. Actually, let's talk about that. So a lot of times when somebody asks us to do something, I want your feedback on this. I find that, everything we do is to make ourselves feel better, which is really good. We're built that way. Everything we do, because we have to take responsibility for our own welfare. It's not my job to make you feel better. It's not your job to make me feel better. So everything we do, we're designed to take care of ourselves, which is great. Okay. So then if you ask me to do something that I don't really want to do, and I have to think about it, I could think, well, I really like her and I want to do that to make you happy because you're asking me to do, because I really like you. And that makes me feel good to make you happy because you're my friend. So that's a good one. Yeah, I can go out of my way to do that. Or I can be, well, if I don't do it, she's not going to like me. She's not going to be my friend. And I really wanted to be my friend. So I'm still doing it because I want you to be my friend, because I feel good having you as my friend. So no matter what happens, I'm still doing whatever it is that you're asking me to make myself feel better. And most people, that's what, like you were saying, you make me do this. How can we make anybody do anything? I'm so glad you brought up that question, because I guess the thing is that when we decide that I'm making this decision because it makes me feel good, it empowers us. So we don't have to control other people. We don't have to blame other people. Mm-hmm. So how hard is it for us to come to this conclusion? Because I find it really challenging having this conversation with people, because they're like, no, people make us do things. And I don't get it. So let's talk about that, because I have a feeling you're going to make a lot of people a lot happier in the next couple of minutes.
I don't think I will, because I'm not really in charge of their emotions, but I can.
Oh, no.
But I can give people I might be able to offer some suggestions that people then can use to manage their own happiness.
There we go. Okay.
How easy it is how easy that slips into conversation. I mean, if you listen to songs, they are all about, you make me happy, you make me feel. Yeah. It's like everybody is in charge of everybody's emotions, but not our own. Now, the thing about, we do things for other people because we feel good when we do that. There are two sides to that story. We can do things from choice, and we say, I do this because I really want to. I choose this because I really like this person and I want to contribute to them and I want to support the relationship. Or I can come from that selfless place where I just completely forget myself. And the more I do that, and the more I push my own needs aside and ignore my own boundaries and my own self-care, then I turn into a martyr. And that's what people often do. They go, I have to do this so that I feel good when the other person feels good. So it's no longer about my feeling good. It's I start having that external reference that is like, if you feel good, then I feel good. And that's when things really that's when people start feeling resentful. They start getting angry, and they don't know, because they say, but that's what people expect from me. I'm doing this because that's what everybody does. I mean, all you have to do is read obituaries. People get praised for sacrificing their lives. And I'm not saying that in an emergency situation, you should be there for other people. But often what we do is we jump in and rescue people when they really don't need to be rescued at all. And that's when we get resentful and angry, because we just take care of people in such a way that almost disables them. And then when they come back to us and say, but you used to do this and you're always doing this for me, and why are you not doing this now? That's when things get difficult.
Yeah, that's when I guess they expect us to be a certain way, and we teach people how to treat us. We teach people what to expect from us. And also, if we're not taking care of ourselves, if our own emotional needs are not being cared for, it has to come up. It's like holding a beach ball underwater. Sooner or later, it has to pop up, right? So the very first thing that it sounds like you're saying is that take responsibility for our own happiness. If helping a friend makes you happy, wonderful. But don't do it because you want to make them happy. Do it because it's something that you want to do. It makes you feel good and it makes them happy. So it has to do both, right?
I don't know if it makes them happy. What I can do is I can do something, and often what people do, and this is my favorite, people do something for another person without even checking if that's what they want. Now, often what we do is we go in and we say, oh, I really know that that's what you want. And we do something like, I don't know. I mean, trite example. I buy a movie ticket for you and me, and I come and I say, hey, Anne, I bought movie tickets for us. And you go, no, I don't have time. I don't really want to see that movie. And I go, but I bought this so we could spend time together. And don't you want to spend this time? And I start guilt tripping you. And that's when we get into this whole conversation about, who does what for whom. And then we comply, and we're no longer genuine. We're no longer authentic, because then we just act out roles. Who do I have to be in order to get your approval? And how do you twist yourself into a pretzel to make sure that I'm okay? Instead of going, you know what, next time, how about you check in with me to see if this is really something I want to do? And then we'll buy the tickets together. Like I sometimes buy tickets. If I see something I really like, I bought tickets for an event next year. I bought 2 tickets. I don't know who's going to go with me, but if I don't find somebody, I'm still going to go by myself because I really want to go. But if I don't find somebody, I'm not going to be upset because I can't make anybody go.
Yeah. I love that. See, this is like a 3-hour conversation, that point alone. And I know it's a lifelong conversation for us, for most of us, because different situations bring up different emotions, different things, and the plot constantly changes. And so, interesting enough, we're basically directors and producers of our own movie and our own plot, every day. And we can choose how do we respond to it. Could we turn it into a comedy, or can we turn it into a horror flick? We can do whatever we want with it. To me, actually, when maybe it's because of what I do, I find it fascinating to look at it from the outside, which was quite different when I'm in the middle of it. And now, what is going on? And that feeling is just, it's not good. Feeling that powerless and that anger that boils up, it's just not a good place to be. So, accepting that drama is part of our lives and our emotions are just there to take care of us. So there's nothing wrong with emotions. No. There's nothing wrong with other people's emotions. So if I heard you correctly, is that decide what you want to do and then offer that idea to somebody else. And if the solution or the idea that you're offering doesn't work for them, that's okay. That's your idea. They're entitled to their own ideas.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that sounds too simple. We don't like simple. We like complicated.
No, we like power.
That's what it is.
I mean, you look around in the world at the moment, it's all about power. How many people can I control? How much money can I control? How much? It's all about, it's like I am the one in charge. And life becomes infinitely better when we drop that. But it's the problem is that we expect that people want to be taken care of, and people are really willing to let go of responsibility. So I think what we need to teach people is how to be adults, self-responsible adult, instead of encouraging them to stay children when we come from that parent role and saying, don't worry, I'll take care of that. Because that creates anger on both sides. Because it's not a cooperation. It's just,
Yeah, totally get it. So basically the control issue is the big issue.
Yes.
And the only ones we can actually control is ourselves and our own emotions. And as long as we're focused on controlling ourselves, we have a better chance at controlling our emotions until something happens where our emotions get inflamed again. Then we have to bring it back under control for ourselves.
Yes, and then what we do is you step outside, and there are tools that you can learn. We don't teach people these tools. We expect that people learn to do this. So when people know how to step outside of a scenario, recognize the pattern, seeing, oh my God, here we go. I'm going into the same plot, into the same scenario again. No, I'm choosing to do something else. Emotions change. I have different choices. And then the plot completely changes. And I can go in a totally different direction that does not take me into something that feels really awful. It is actually an opportunity to change something into a really great opportunity to improve relationships, to change outcomes, and to do all of that in such a way that I don't have the burden of the world on my shoulders. So
thank you for that. And interestingly enough, I mean, you train, you coach some of the world's leading experts, CEOs of major corporations, So is the control issue, whether we're running a multi-billion-dollar company or just running our own household, the control issue is still the same. It's always about us. So those of you who are watching this and you're like, I'd like to be in better control of my emotions, look below. Angela's going to, let you know how to get a hold of her. Look below this video and comment. This is a really hot topic. Pretty much all the world's problems happen because people can't control their tempers. Look at the world leaders. Look at people getting ready to press buttons to blow up the globe. It's all about control, and then take a look at ourselves in our own home. It's all about, you got to control your children. You have to control. Yeah. So major stuff. This is like an ongoing challenge. So the best we can do is learn how to do a little bit better. And I'm learning every day a little bit more about myself. And I can tell I'm only scratching the surface here. So I'm sticking close to Angela.
We're all work in progress. So
yeah, yes, we are. Okay, everybody. So Angela, thank you so much for coming back and joining me. I just love having you back. So you have to come back again. We have to continue with this ongoing topic. So lovely. Again, thanks for your insights and all the wisdom and experience that you're sharing with us.
Thank you, Anne.
Yeah. And those of you who have joined us, and this is Docu-Branding, the 6-week series that we're doing right now, part of the Global Visibility Initiative. And this week is all about genre and plot. Do you see the drama in your life? Are you putting a lot of Hollywood in your life? And what does it look like? Is it comedy? Is it drama? Is it horror? What is it? Which one of those scenarios plays in your home? How do you respond to things? Think about that and, let us know, okay? Post down there, and I'll be back tomorrow with another fabulous interview with another one of our cast members, okay? Until next time, I'm Anne Devere, and this is another episode of Access to Experts on the Spot for the Global Visibility Initiative.